Chapter 9, Persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith, the eighth step to riches. All right, so I kind of avoided talking about riches specifically. I'm more so generalizing this book to be applied to whatever it is that you want to achieve. These principles can be utilized for things other than just monetary value or monetary gain. You can use these as a way to learn literally anything. It literally takes just these steps, and these are more so qualities. Persistence. What is persistence? Most of you know what persistence is. It's being relentless, persistent, constant. These are synonyms to it. It is to continuously strive at it again and again and again, repetitively, persistently. You get the idea. If you haven't heard of that, that's what that means. Most of y'all should know what persistence means. The basis of persistence is the power of will. Humans, us, we all have a will, which is our desire, what we want to happen. What you want deep down, that is your will. Sometimes your will is not exercised and you feel shitty, like because what you really want is not being expressed. Our wills are our drive, it picks us up and moves us to things. You know what I'm saying? Your will. What do you want? Do you want this rather than that? Why do you want that? It is what you desire truly. That's your will. Persistence is fueled by that principle that I was just talking about called will. Persistence just means getting up and fucking doing it for real. Boil it down. The will is the fuel source. I really fucking want it, so I'm gonna get the fuck up and I'm gonna go do it. I really want to be stronger, so I'm gonna do my push-ups. I really want to, y'all see me doing gymnastics and stuff. I want to do backflips and shit like that, so I gotta go get up and go to the gym, even though it's uncomfortable for me, even though I'm doing it by myself, even though I'm literally in there like I don't know what I'm doing. But my will and my desire is pushing me towards doing it, even though I feel very fucking uncomfortable doing all that stuff. Being upside down and flipping, I ain't never done no shit like that. But I want to do stuff like that, so I'm doing stuff like that. The will is the action force that's getting your ass up there and doing it. That's will. The majority of people are ready to throw their arms and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. This is absolutely true. Most people cannot handle that stress of denial, of opposition, of disharmony, of chaos. They cannot handle that. It's just what it is. They don't like it. They reject it immediately. It is persistence that allows you to still experience those emotions. I'm not telling you you're not supposed to be discouraged or you're not supposed to have fear. You will. Those are natural human being emotions. Persistence is the quality of, even though I feel discouraged and scared or fearful, that I'm going to continue even though I feel this way. It is not a denial or a flipping of the emotional spectrum around and acting a certain way. No, it's none of that. Acknowledge those feelings. If you have those feelings, I've had those feelings. I've certainly been scared and discouraged, and you know what I'm saying? I'm a human too. Persistence is pushing beyond it, regardless. Keep on going. The ease of which lack of persistence may be conquered will depend entirely upon the intensity of one's desire. If you kind of want it, you're not gonna really be that persistent with it. Like some shit, like you don't really give a fuck about, like you kind of want to do this shit but not really. That has just less emotional tie to you, so you're not going to be persistent with it. You're not going to be persistent in doing something you don't really give a fuck about. The desire nature is directly correlated with how persistent you will be. If you really give a fuck, even if you're really afraid, that can be a desire. Like fear, fear usually has a bad it gives this like fear gives that like, oh my, like a flinching type runaway. No, fear can also be, man, I don't want my family to starve, so I'm finna work. Like that can be a drive. You feel me? That fear can be turned around and be positive. It's not like you have to deny the emotions or call them good or bad or, you know what I'm saying, categorize them. You just need to understand like how that emotion is affecting you and how you can direct that energy. I don't want my family to starve, and so fuck, I'm finna go to work. I'm finna go build something. I'm finna go do, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it can be a protective, it can be, that emotion can be used in service of like protecting people. You feel me? Persistence and desire and emotion, like you gotta understand the emotional aspect of it before you can become persistent, because you're not gonna just one day pop up and, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it every day. No, unless you got the willpower to say, body, get the fuck over there and do it, which is hard because our minds want one thing and our bodies and our desire nature and we experience another. So you have to make that bridge for yourself. Like, ain't nothing nobody can teach you. This is internal work that needs to be done. Can't nobody else get to you. Like, it's the crazy part. It's acquired through development. It talks about a lot of like attraction, like it gives like law of attraction vibes, but I get like a lot of that shit don't connect with everybody, bro. Like that shit too fucking sassy, bro. Like get this shit out of here, bro. I'm a scientific mind, bro. I need to understand that shit through and through. Like it needs to like be proven. You feel me? I need to understand on a deeper level. I gotta prove shit. You may find it necessary to snap. Ugh, that was so cringy. Okay, you may find it necessary to snap out of your mental inertia through a similar procedure. He was just talking about the example he was giving was slowly gaining control of your muscle. I'm gonna make it make sense. Moving slowly at first, then increasing your speed until you gain complete control over your will. Okay. And then it says, be persistent no matter how slowly you may at first have to move. I'm going to speak on this one because it is important to understand that your will initially is small. Well, if you've never had any type of discipline or mental training or anything, you say you're just a regular person, you're trying to start your, learning process of the mind and thoughts and mental health and all those things and human nature and all that shit like that. Depending on your quality, but usually if you haven't developed these things already, you'll find that you gotta start slow. Trying to flip your programming to become something that you're not yet, it's not sustainable. I encourage you to try. You'll find that you can't do it. You can't do it because it's not possible. It takes time. You need, it says right here, very next thing it says is there's no substitute for persistence. There isn't. It's something that just must be done. Like, there's no way around it. There's no beat around the bush avenue you can take. You can't buy it. You can't do anything other than develop it yourself. It is a quality. It must be touched and felt. There is no substitute. Every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. If you can develop the habit of turning every single thing, not just the good and the bad, but like, hell, even the moments, like turning it into gain, something that you're learning, you're expanding, you're becoming bigger in a sense, in that you're experiencing more of life. I'm not trying to sound woo-wah or hippy-dippy or nothing like that, but constantly training yourself to constantly be engaged with your experience of life, I would say, grows you. It grows you. It makes you more present, more engaged, more here. You experience more life. You're a better person. All that shit. It gives us several examples of people that have used persistence to achieve their goals. Persistence is a state of mind, so it can be cultivated. Like all states of mind, persistence is based upon definite causes, including definiteness of purpose, desire, self-resilience, definiteness of plans, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, habit. I'm not going to go through those. You can read that on your own. Symptoms of lack of persistence. So let's see if we should go over this. Okay, I mean, I guess I can go over this quickly. Symptoms of lack of persistence. Sometimes the mind will lie to itself in order to make itself happy. It is something that we do. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel not so bad. It makes us feel that it comforts us. It comforts us to have a positive self-image, and this can be very dangerous because we are capable of tricking ourselves into thinking that, hey, this is progress when it's actually not. It lists a few of examples on here. It says one of them is procrastination, yeah, lack of interest in acquiring specialized knowledge, just being a fucking lazy person and not seeking to grow or seek out any type of knowledge, bro. You're just lazy. Indecision, we talked about that one. The habit of relying upon alibis instead of creating definite plans for the solution of problems. I just spoke about that, about this is us lying to ourselves, and we believe in that. I mean, it's hard because this is a mental game that you're playing with yourself. Like, unless you develop the quality of honesty and being honest, first you have to acknowledge that you're lying to yourself. And then you have to acknowledge, like, that is bad to do to yourself. And then you have to become truthful. Hard to do. It takes a lot of self-reflection. It takes a lot of self-reflection. It takes a lot of ego humbling. It takes a lot of that. Just being honest, looking at yourself in the mirror. What exactly does that mean? It's a common phrase, but it means being truthful. What does that mean? It means loving yourself. As cringy as that sounds, loving yourself in order to not destroy yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? That lying to ourselves is a destructive quality within ourselves that we have. Only way to get past it is to acknowledge it, is to love it. Love, not in the cringy, ooh ass way. No, but more of a, I don't want this to die. I don't want this to go downward. I don't want that to disintegrate, referring to me to myself. So I will do what it takes in order to essentially go the other way. The opposite of disintegration would be evolution, increasing, gaining, becoming better, whatever good, if you want to be simple with the shit. Self-love first requires honesty, but this is a process, bro. I can't, as many words as I want to give you and paint it and map the shit out for you, the only way to do it is to do it yourself. So you have to go and gain real life experience over that. Can't teach you that. You'll never, ever, ever learn it through anybody else but yourself. Self-satisfaction. There is but little remedy for this affiliation. This is true as well. If a person is satisfied where they are, There's no help. That is what they want. That is where they want to be. And you should not try and infringe on them and say you need to be more. But that's where that person wants to be. That's good enough for them. That's what they want. There's no cure for that. Stop trying to change people. Stop trying. I'm not even trying to change you, bro. I ain't even trying to. I don't give a damn. I'm not monetized. This video I ain't making no money off this. This is just. I want to encourage people to read so y'all can become smarter people. That way, my life is better. That way, everybody's life is better. If we all know more and we are all smarter, all of our lives get better. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for me. Fuck you. I ain't trying to teach you nothing. I'm trying to get the world better. So read books, please. Fucking read, bro. Damn. The habit of blaming others for your mistake. Big one. We've all done this. I've done this. Just a weak quality to have. Always take accountability every single time. Weakness of desire. If you don't want the shit, then hey, fuck it. Willingness, even eagerness to quit at first sign of defeat. We spoke on that already. Lack of organized plan. You lack an organized plan. We already talked about that already. Wishing instead of willing. Talked about that. Searching for all the shortcuts. Yeah, so all of these are really kind of self-explanatory, but I suggest you go through them on your own. Hopefully you read the shit. Most ideas are stillborn and need the breath of life injected into them through the definite plans of immediate action. This ties directly into persistence. Act on it immediately. Don't wait. Like, you had a great idea. Like, why you ain't did that shit yet? Like, you sitting on some good ass ideas and you ain't did shit about them. Like, bring them to life. You know what I'm saying? Like, go get on them. Don't wait. Don't just sit there and hoard it. Like, get to it immediately. As soon as you get that spark of inspiration, like, pull it into this world. I think we said enough about persistence. It's going to give you a little bit more examples. There's tons of examples. I'm kind of skipping over them. If you want the examples, go read them. I'm giving you my type of unfiltered review of it. Chapter 10, the power of the mastermind, the driving force. Power may be defined as organized and intelligently directed knowledge. Damn it. That damn AC been on this whole time. I'm sorry, y'all. Damn, I hope that shit hasn't. My bad, y'all. That AC been on that whole time. Damn. My bad. Chapter 10, Power of the Mastermind, the driving force. Power may be defined as organized and intelligently directed knowledge. Power, as the term is here used, refers to organized effort sufficient to enable an individual to transmute desire into its monetary equivalent. Power means you can do what you want. What you want to happen, happens. If that cannot happen, you have no power. Hold on. It goes on to tell you how to acquire this power and how, by using cooperation from your other fellow humans, you can, you know what I'm saying, get things done. It's going to tell you how do you acquire knowledge, because organized knowledge is power. Infinite intelligence, this is kind of like God. This is what they say, like God is the all-knowing, the almighty, whatever that thing is, that's what they refer to it as in this book. Saying that space, it can come from there. Accumulated experience, the accumulated experience of mankind may be found in any well-equipped library. Okay. So knowledge can come from the above. Where else can knowledge come from? Accumulated experience. Accumulated experience of humans as a whole. So this includes books. This is accumulated experience right here. This is the experience of one man who spoke to several millionaires, talked to them, wrote down their stories, engaged with them, and transferred all of that knowledge into a book. Think of how crazy that is, bro. Think of how wild it is that humans are capable of reading. What is reading, bro? It's the mind making associations between symbols, your alphabet, right? Symbols, mental images, vibrations, sound frequencies, because I'm looking at a symbol, I'm hearing it, you feel me? That's the sound frequency. And I'm also having a mental image play up in my mind. Isn't that fucking crazy? That's what reading is. That's the process of reading. But think about the other person. The other person is using the same exact process, but using the symbols to make associations to explain what it is that he is experiencing in his direct life, like, or her life. You know what I'm saying? This is a human or their imagination. That's crazy, bro. The fact that we can read is crazy. It's a superpower, bro. It's wizardy. It's like magical. It's spellcaster. You feel me? Like it's symbols on a page, bro, and we're able to conjure up images along with sounds and understand how are we able to do all that shit, bro? And why are none of the other animals on this planet able to do that? That's crazy, bro. I don't know. I think reading is cool when you understand like what it actually is, what it is that's going on. That's a way to like make reading kind of seem cool, make you kind of want to read. Like, damn, this is kind of crazy. So we can get knowledge from the accumulated experience of others. This is all of your libraries. This is the internet. Oral stories passed down from generation to generation. People teaching you stuff. All experience of humankind. That's two sources of knowledge. Experiment and research. So us figuring out some new shit, basically. Us gaining more knowledge and then pretty much adding that to the, experiment and research would kind of be like the new addition before it becomes accumulated knowledge. Like God with imagination and shit, all of our collective experience, and then the new shit that we go about discovering. That's a way to put it. It speaks on working in groups. Humans, ever since we could record, have always worked together in harmony. It's extremely difficult to do it all on your own. In fact, some would argue, or I would even argue, that no one can do it on their own. Yeah, it sucks to say, but power ultimately comes from other humans. No one man, can have all the power. Like it just doesn't exist, or it just can't happen. All power is given. It's given from us to another. This is why working in groups is essential for us to survive. There's no way around it. Like, no one man can do it all. We need to work together. It kind of goes over that a little bit. It talks about the very different types of advantages you will gain, such as like economic advantages, things like that. It gives a ton of examples of why working with other humans is the move, and basically how you can't do this shit by yourself. It's just pretty much gonna say that shit a lot, which is true. I suggest you read that. I'm not gonna spend no time going over that one. Mastermind Group Power. That's something to be studied. If you've ever read the book, it's a pretty popular book, The 48 Laws of Power. I've read that. It did kind of scare the fuck out of me, not gonna lie. But it showed me what power actually is. I wouldn't rely on that chapter to give you the most accurate description of that, but just pick out a few chapters of that book and read them. That book is, it's pretty wild. I didn't understand how deep these people that wanted to ascend the power, like gain rank or become a king or anything like that, how they wanted to gain status. I didn't understand the lengths that people would go to, and I recommend going and checking out that book. If y'all, I don't want to do that book. I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to do that book, so I'm not gonna do that book. But check it out, read a couple paragraphs. You'll see how grimy humans can be. We can be pretty shady things. We can do some crazy things to each other. It's kind of wild, but it's enlightening. It shows you what we're actually capable of. Chapter 11, the mystery of sex transmutation. Okay, so this speaks on something that's kind of usually it's looked at in a bad light. Like people kind of avoid this topic of sex and anything like that. It usually has like nobody wants to talk about that shit. Like, but I'll talk about it. I mean, it's in the book. So we all know that if you're old enough, maybe even if, I don't know, my shit turned on at like 3rd grade, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I've been feeling that force for a long time. Like, since I was a kid, I've been like messing with girls and stuff like that. But the force that they're speaking on is sexual transmutation. They're speaking on this, how do you describe this? It's so potent, yet so misunderstood. Everybody does it. We have this attraction towards one another. It speaks of how important this driving factor is within us and how it has the capability to push us, or carry you to great heights if used correctly. Talks about the abuse of it and how if, let's say you were to castrate a dog, like he'll just kind of like be like lazy. I've heard like you can't take away the generative organs of something and it function properly, you know, like cutting the meat off somebody, like that's castration. Like it changes a man, they say. I believe them. You feel me? I mean, it's not funny, but there's a little bit of evidence that we can kind of point towards that suggests you shouldn't fiddle with that, you know? It talks about the energy of sex, and we can all pretty much attest to this, that it's a very, very powerful force. And the way we experience this force determines a lot. But it should be given an outlet through forms of expression that enrich the body, mind, and spirit. If not given this form of outlet through transmutation, it will seek outlets through purely physical channels. You can use that, I'm speaking strictly for the men. You can use that force to get on the ladies. You can use that force to create. That's it, to create. You are creating either way. That force within us must have expression. I haven't quite figured out what exactly this stuff is. There have kind of been like cultures that have talked about it, why it's so strong, that compulsion, that need to be with one another, to breed, to have sex and do things like that. Why do we feel that? Why is it so strong? I don't know. We're pretty freaked out as a people right now. People in the future gonna be looking at us like we was freaked out, bro. I already know. We wildin', bro. We wildin'. Everything's freaked out. Like, the whole culture's freaked out. Everything's freaked, bro. Kids freaked. Everything's freaked. And it's been freaked. It ain't like this is new. So, I think we should just, honestly, bro, only solution is we get educated about it, you know? I think that we gotta start having talks about sex and what it is, and there needs to be like more spaces for it, because a lot of people just kind of act like it doesn't exist, even though they'll indulge in it. They won't have any conversations about it, you know? It's not really, it's kind of like a taboo subject, like it's in the background of all things, you know? Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. It's a very strong desire. I'm in my 20s. Never been this, Hey, look, bro, the force is strong, brother. Just trust me on this, bro. So strong and impelling is the desire for sexual contact that people freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge it. Facts. Y'all know that's true. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, the positive attributes of this motivating force may be used as powerful creative forces in literature, art, or in any other profession or calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches. It's just saying that this force that's within us is pretty special. Some of you believe in like holding your seed. Some of you believe in no nut November, stuff like that, or semen retention, things like that. Basically, it's holding your seed. I think that's stupid. I think that it's an expression and it needs to be expressed, and it needs to be expressed with the right avenue. You cannot all day. You will hurt yourself mentally and physically. A lot of us are. It's a very big problem. It's you can get on the internet and see it's very persistent across all apps. Kids have access to it. Everything's freaked out. It is what it is, but I think that a better alternative to pretending that it's non-existent is to openly talk about it, have some conversations about it, become some adults about it. I was never taught about it. I was never sat down and, I ain't never experienced none of that. So everything that I learned by myself, just fucking around. You feel me? Just, you know what I'm saying? Or the culture, you kind of pick up on it from the culture that you around, or TV, or, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you just flat out right, you know what I'm saying, know about it or see it or have done it. It's sad, but I think, the only way to remedy it is we got to start talking about it. We got to start being more mature as a people. I'm already going to talk to my little sister about all that shit. Like, go ahead, teach them early, This chapter is titled Sex Transmutation. Transmutation is, for simpler terms, taking something and turning it into something else. Transmutation, changing it. You must change your expression for pure pleasure into fuel for your desired nature. I know that doing it too much, too frequently does drain you. It drains you of your stamina. It drains you of your willpower. Do it and you will become tired. Your life force is important. You have to pay attention to it. Sometimes it's correlated with age. Older men, it's as if their desire nature goes down as age goes up. Young men my age were more vigorous. We haven't seen any decline yet in our sexual appetite. It's only been increased and increased as we get older. I'm in my 20s, so it's probably gonna keep going until I'm 40. You feel me? It speaks a bit of vibrations in this book. I don't really like that term because it sounds too gay. It sounds too, you feel me? Like wiggly. Like it's too wiggly, bro. Vibrations. You can take vibrations and do vibe, right? And vibe, change that to emotion. You can understand vibration through synonyms with emotion, I would say. I would say a high vibey person, a high vibration frequency, blah, 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 as person is someone who's emotionally aligned, emotionally in tune with their desire, emotionally stable. I think that the person who dresses up in all this extra ass garments and spiritual bullshit, like it kind of comes off as like a egoic persona, and I would say that person is less vibey, less vibrational frequency. I would say they're like lower than just a regular ass person who's stable and in line with himself. That person I would say is more high vibrational than the guy who's like, oh, high vibrational. It's like they're missing something. They need to learn some more shit because their shit is terrible. It's too whack. Yeah, and so usually you will have your good thoughts and pleasant thoughts when you have a pleasant state of mind. When you're stressed and angry and or sad or whatever the fuck, usually your thoughts are correlated to the emotion that you're feeling. Hence why you would say a person who's in line and in balance is capable of thinking better, because their judgment and their mind is not clouded by any fear at the moment, any worry at the moment, any stress. The less stress that the mind has, the more room it has to operate with operating or catching or attracting good ideas or things like that. So meditation is a good tool. Do they talk about meditation in here? They don't. Meditation is a tool that you can use to, I'm gonna make a whole video on meditation, but I'm gonna give you a little gist, a little quick, little snippet, a little jab real quick of it. Meditation, bro, is usually, when you think of it, it's a person sitting down crisscross applesauce, hands on their knees, and they close their eyes, and it's like that. That's like the marketization of meditation. In reality, meditation is, it's sensing the states of the body and the mind. So doing it long enough, you will be able to sense the emotional body, I would say. It's like your emotional body, your emotional patterning, your emotions, your thought processes, the ability to watch what thoughts cross the mind, what thoughts are playing out. Why are these thoughts playing out? That's a different story, but the ability to acknowledge them, the ability to see them, and therefore, well, observation gives you opportunity to change or direct them. We're going to get into meditation one of these days because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation on it, but very, very, very important skill to utilize in order to see clearly, in order to make better decisions, in order to change things, in order to have power, in order to have free will, essentially, in order to ability to choose. That's what you're getting. It speaks more on vibrations. Again, I want you to think of that, because vibrations is too, it gives too much of an image. When you hear vibrations, you think of, that's exactly what you fucking think of. You think of some wiggly shit, like doing this shit, like real fucking quickly. Vibration is more emotional state, emotional frequency. It's not you fucking wiggling. Oh, it's such a nasty word. I hate vibrations. Creative imagination functions best when the mind is vibrating due to some form of mind stimulation to an exceedingly high rate. Mind stimulation can come through desire, creative imagination, meditation, stimulants like drugs, alcohol or weed or psychedelics or something like that. Like anything that stimulates the mind has a potential to bring in whatever type of thought. The reasoning faculty is often faulty because it is largely guided by our accumulated experiences. This is true. Reason can be faulty because reason only goes off of your own personal memory bank. Like all the calculations that I've made and experienced and seen, I have that to work with in order to engage what is presently going on right now. So it's using my memories and past and all that in order to really see and analyze and make decisions on what's happening right now. The memory, or I'm sorry, reasoning uses the memory. Like, based on this, I can make that about this. Like, based on that, I can do like, reasoning is pretty simple to understand, but it is true because our knowledge is incomplete. This is why you must constantly just keep on updating. Reasoning just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. With more experience, I would say. More experience, you begin to think better. That's just how it is. Like, you get more experience, you learn more, you think better. The human mind responds to stimulation. I just named a few stimulations, highest of which is the urge of sex. Yes, this is true. I've done a lot of stupid things in the name of trying to get some. Risked it, you know what I'm saying, for the biscuit. I was young, bro. I used to do a lot of stupid shit, but in the name of getting that booty, nigga, it was no price I wouldn't pay. You feel me? But we all do that. Now, or shoot, even shoot, people might kill for love. People might love you so much they fucking burn your house down and shoot you and them. Like, love is crazy, and it is the most insane thing. People crash out about love. Love is at the top of the list. It's no debating that's it might not be your top desire, but like among us all, it's the top desire for sure. And what is this? Is this mean that are they telling you like stop fucking, like stop having it, like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people not gonna do that, and that's not exactly what it's saying. I think it's more so directing your attention towards those things. Your sex energy is kind of like your power source, and you can use it on this or that. But if you're constantly squandering it on women, pornography, sex, men, whatever, a lot of energy can go into relationships, bro. A lot of energy can go into relationships with the wrong people. You know, we just have this desire for them, this unexplainable, you know, circumstance that goes on within us that pulls us towards that person. I get it. I totally get it. But your desire for what you want, I mean, whichever one is higher is which one you will go with. I'm just saying that if you truly want that, then your desire has to be more greater than chasing. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's the hardest thing to do. I let go of women for 3.5 years, bro. 3.5 years, so that I could focus. I knew that I ain't have no bread, I ain't have no money, I ain't have nothing to be happy about. So why am I chasing these girls? Why am I trying to mess with these girls? So I made a promise to myself. I said, DJ, no girls, no coochie, no nothing until you get your shit together. But I can attest to this. I too had to do this. I had to make a hard decision and say, DJ, am I going to keep on chasing girls? Am I going to keep on trying to just be out here just having fun? Or do I want to really like lock in and change my life, bro? Do I really want to go after my life? And I said, yeah, I'll be a fool not to bet on myself. I don't have no kids. I don't got no crazy debt. I'm really like set up to be, you know, in a good position in life if I was to really, really take my life serious. And I made that decision 3.5 years ago, and I've been doing this shit ever since. I had to sacrifice. I had to say, Look, what is my biggest distraction? It was women. It was, I always had a girl over, bro. I was always in something, bro. I was always, once you are consumed with people like that and it takes over your life, then that's when you know, hey, I'm dipping into this region a little bit too much. I'm not focused. I'm not focusing. I had to make a decision, bro. I remember the day I made this decision. I was sitting down on my girl couch, right? She was complaining, right, about how I would not watch this show with her. So I grabbed my book and I went to the living room with her and I was reading my book while she was watching her show. And she got upset with me and she was like, I don't remember what she said, but she just was like, she said some shit. And that's when I was like, I'm trying to better myself and this girl is trying to distract me. That's when I realized, like, it just popped in my head, like, oh, bro, she's distracting me, bro. Like, I'm literally trying to read a book. I was reading a psychology book. I was literally on my very first start. This is one of the first books that I picked up. I was reading a different book, but I had to make the decision. I was like, bro, we watching some bullshit, keeping in mind, like, I'm not even interested in it. And I was just like, bro, I gotta cut her off, bro. And I broke up with her. That was it, bro. I went hard. I bought a stack of books taller than myself. So it was about 6 feet worth of books. And I read all them shits. I locked in, bro. I spent my money on books, bro. I didn't spend my money on nothing else. I sold everything I had, bro. Everything I had went. I had to make that choice, bro. I had to make that sacrifice because I was literally, bro, didn't have shit. Like, why was I so happy? I didn't really have nothing, bro. I don't know, bro. I had false riches, bro. I had to go and clear my mind. I had to get smarter. I had to read. I had to learn. I had to change, bro. I had to change, bro. And until that desire is sincere within yourself, you will stay in the position that you're in. That's just the way the world works. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just trying to give you the truth. People who lack sex energy will never become enthusiastic nor inspire others with enthusiasm. You can see this in people that, like, it's kind of obvious to tell who the meat beaters are. I don't know. Stop doing it, bro. It's a fucking illness. The emotion of sex is a virtue only when used intelligently and with discrimination. It may often be misused to such an extent that it debases instead of enriches both body and mind. 100% true. Intemperance in sex habits is just as detrimental as intemperance in habits of drinking and eating. Can't spill your seed all the time, bro. You just can't. You can't do it every single day. You can't do it. Stop doing it. Every other animal indulges in sex nature in moderation and with purpose that harmonizes with the laws of nature. Every other animal responds to the call of sex only in season. The human inclination is to declare open season. We do be fucking, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I don't really understand how our mating season would work. You kind of gotta judge this one for yourself. I can't jump in your sex life with you. You feel me? You kind of gotta understand, like, do I need to do this or do I need to do that? You know, you kind of got to make that judgment and call for yourself. Sex alone is a mighty urge to action, but its forces are like a cyclone. They are often uncontrollable. 100% true. I can only speak for the men here. Maybe around, for a lot of us, maybe 15 or 16, all the way up into, like, shit, my current age, maybe up to like 35. You kind of just wanna disciplining the sex nature, bro, is the hardest thing to do because you can't turn your eyes off and you can't turn your desires off. It is a true act of willpower to say no. You have to say no. Not all coochie is good coochie, man. I learned that the hard way. Promise you that. You just gotta have discernment, bro. I know, bro, that they're beautiful. Like, they're so beautiful and they're fun and they're soft and they're lovable, bro. They're just beautiful beings. But it is up to us to lead. It is up to us to drive. It is up to us to move. Doing so will make you a better man. I promise you, it has made me a better man. Discipline yourself. It is the hardest thing to do. Young man, it is the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do. Okay, bro? I'm trying to reach through the screen and feel you, bro. It's the hardest one to accomplish. Get a grip on it, brother. I don't even have a full grip on it, but I have enough to say no. I have enough power in my body to say no. That is the first step. No body, no mind. This is me. This is my domain. Do you control your body? Get control of that thing first. That's the first step. Body will follow. Body will follow. Promise you. Promise you. Body will follow. Mind will follow. Starts with that one though. You got to get a grip on it. There is no other road to genius than through voluntary self-effort. 100%. You cannot make someone do it. Never. This is a self-imposed drive that comes from within. No one else can give it to you. Like I said earlier, you can't purchase it, buy it, none of that shit. It has to be grown within old school Philosopher's Stone forging type, you know what I'm saying? This is forging the Philosopher's Stone within you, brother. You got to do this the old-fashioned way. You got to get in there, do your inner work, and actually change yourself and actually do the work regardless, bro. It doesn't matter about anybody else but you, my man. So get to it, bro. It talks more about love, sex. You should read it for yourself.